yeah, hangs out on Discord will appreciate that's going to be a pretty cool thing to be able to do. Aside from that, the other thing that I can also confirm that we're most definitely going to have in the client pretty soon is, once again, built into the browser, right? You're going to be able to use web pages that have support for webcams, right? Maybe I talked about this. But instead of using your webcam or any camera hardware in your device, it's going to use a virtual camera that's in the space, right? And what's interesting about that, I don't know if anybody remembers Facebook Spaces. Honestly, I could be just repeating myself, and I've talked about all of this last week. So somebody please stop me if I am doing that. But yeah, it's going to be possible to, let's say, open Discord, sign in, join a video call, and people will see you in Banter, will see your avatar. Yeah, exactly how that's going to work has yet to be determined, but logistically, we have a proof of concept from end to end. So now we just really need to figure out where we're going to put the camera, or how the camera part of it is going to work. But yeah, I'm pretty confident at this point that we should be able to group together all of the necessary parts, all of the video and audio parts, glue everything together and get it into any web service really that supports a webcam. So that can expand beyond Discord, right? You could do a Google Meet from within Banter. You could probably do video calls on Facebook. You could do video calls on any platform, maybe WhatsApp web or something if you wanted to do that. You could do, you could go live stream straight from Banter onto YouTube, right? Because you can just do that straight from a webcam. I don't know if Twitch has that. I think we talked about this, and I don't think Twitch has that. But we're trying to work on a way to maybe integrate with Twitch anyway. Generally, live streaming has been something that we've been doing a lot of work on, and some of our road team know, and very soon will be helping us test, maybe along with some community members, our new streaming interface, right? Which is going to be integrated with SideQuest. So you're going to have the option to choose when you stream, to stream your desktop like you've always been doing, but we've been working on this really cool stuff that lets you stream your VR experience as well, right? And you're going to be able to stream that to your SideQuest profile. It's going to pop up as a live stream if that's something that you want to be able to do. And we're also hoping to be able to build out some tools to connect that straight to Twitch as well, right? If that's something that you want to be able to do, right? So we're pretty excited about this, I think, overall, mainly because, you know, I've seen Live, the Live camera system, and how successful that's been, and especially I've heard internally through my own connections how successful that's been and how serious that's being taken by the platforms, and how they're working on their own versions of all of that kind of stuff now. And the truth is, enabling people to create content could absolutely be a really key area to growth, right? It makes it easier for us, all of us, in fact, as a community, to be able to better share what it's like to do the cool things that we do on here, right? And and as we kind of focus on making more and more cool things that we can do, having these kinds of tools so that people can get the word out, so to speak, is I think important for the industry overall, right? I think it helps to get as many eyes on XR content overall. So in a nutshell, what I'm talking about here is that we have been for a little while now working on tools that started right here in Banter, but are now kind of graduating in a sense. And you guys, if you're up for it, will help us test them out before we look at kind of opening them up to a wider audience, right? And being able to stream your experience from inside of XR is something that we're going to take a fairly decent run at it and see what we can do with that, right? And it's all been, like I say, built around the various proof of concepts and prototypes that we've basically slapped together to be able to do things here in Banter. So, yeah, kudos to you on that. But honestly, I think it's going to be really cool whenever you could be here in VR, right? But also your personal browser experience is kind of here with you, and it's not as limited as it's been in the past. So jumping in, signing into Discord on the web, joining a voice call or a video call, and having access to those features, being able to share your experience on Discord, being able to share your view so that people on Discord can see what you can see. I mean, as we all know, Discord is a really, it's a really big platform for gamers. Always has been, always will be, right? It's expanded beyond that now, but at this point, it's still an important kind of connection to the real world. People, I think, mostly tend to hang out on Discord when they're not in VR. So if we can make it easier to kind of bridge that gap, then that's what we want to do, right? And honestly, like I say, I mean, we've talked about other tools in the past, which I'm also going to probably try and tack on to this if we can, which is being able to bridge Discord people into a space. I don't know if anybody here remembers when we tried that, but we had a voice call on Discord, and each user on the voice call was automatically spawned into the space as a user here, right? And you could hear and talk to them in multi directions. So I think the hope there is about trying to kind of open up as many windows and let as many people see into what we're doing and let people who are in here be able to get the word out, right, as easily as possible, and do that inside, the communities that we're already in and that we're already using. And, hopefully there'll be scenarios there where people can kind of stream their experience on Banter, and others might see it, might be interested in joining in. So, I'm pretty excited about this one. We're going to have probably a big update out soon, I would say. It won't be this one that will include all of this functionality. It'll probably be the next update after that. But this one has been, it's definitely close to the end of its development cycle at this point. So fairly soon, we're going to be battle testing it, basically internally, kind of QAing to make sure that it's as solid as possible. And then it's going to get integrated into the SDK, and we're going to gut out the existing browser and basically replace it with this one. So it's going to be pretty exciting. A side effect of that is that you'll be able to use these browsers inside the Unity editor when you're building your spaces, right? So you'll be able to actually see them, they'll work, everything will work just like it does at runtime, which is something that this new browser gives us that we didn't have before. So there's lots of bells and whistles that we get with this. I think it's going to be a really, really interesting tool. We've managed to reroute audio inside the browser in such a way where we have pretty much ultimate control over it. I'm still testing this part, but I don't know, but I've managed to do a synchronization between an audio source in Unity and all of the audio that happens in the browser, where it's actually streaming the audio from the browser to Unity, right, on a little local loopback connection. But it's actually quite interesting because instantly you've got all the spatial benefits, right, and all the extra effects and other processing benefits that you can leverage in Unity while still having that plethora of web audio, if that's something that you want to tap into. And I'm still testing that. I'm not sure exactly how stable that is. That might end up in an experimental kind of channel. But regardless, the work that we've been doing is going to give easy control over the volume of browsers, right? So being able to set the volume of browsers at a global level is something that's going to be a lot easier to do. So it's going to be built in, basically. I guess you won't have to worry about that. We have a really, really advanced injection that goes into every page as it loads. And it basically takes over everything to do with the audio system so that anytime any of it starts to initialize, it actually runs our injection stuff before it runs its own stuff. And what's really interesting about that is it basically means that we can go through each and every audio source on the page, find them all, turn them off, and then pipe all of their audio into our own main audio stream. And from there, we can do whatever we want. We can apply effects to it. We can control the volume of it. We can stream it back to Unity, which is what I've been testing with in terms of getting it to synchronize with an audio source. But really, I guess the point I'm trying to make here is that this has been one of the biggest gripes I guess we've had with the browser. It's been a problem that's never really been solved other than with FireRat's tools to be able to control the volume. I think it's been really interesting to kind of walk this path and try and find ways to do that as reliably as possible, right? So I'm going to be checking a number of different websites that involve any kind of media, right? Obviously, YouTube is a big one there, but I guess a bunch of others, right? We'll check the streaming sites, check Netflix, check other things, right? And just make sure that you can kind of capture all of that audio and that it'll all get piped and routed through properly so that if you share or cast your screen, others will be able to hear it. And if we enable that audio source bridge, that the audio will be properly captured and will properly work, right, on most kind of websites. But so far, it's looking like we've managed to do it in a way where it just automatically covers it on every website. I'm super excited about this because I've been working with this kind of stuff for quite a while, and I can safely say I've probably tried every single browser implementation for Unity that's out there, the paid or unpaid. And I feel like with this effort, we've really gone further than most to try and solve some of those real edge case problems that become super annoying if you use it for more than a day, right? And also, it bridges more of the functionality of the browser back in. We've always really been working with kind of a limited experience, so I'm pretty excited about being able to do more with the browser than we've ever been able to do before. And I think it'd be pretty cool, right? At some point soon, it'd be pretty simple to do a space-to-space video call, right? So we can have two spaces that are kind of broadcast to each other. There's honestly loads of cool things that you can do with this, and you can do it so easily now because we've sort of bridged all this in to the webcam setup, right? So any website that might use a webcam will very likely just work with this out of the box. You could use AI filters in real time. You could probably do video recordings through this system, right? The whole thing, we make a camera system that could do video recordings because we've struggled so far to find a stable setup with the Live integration and our configuration, let's say. But having that ability out of the box, there's probably any number of websites right there that will just pull open your webcam and make a recording from it, and then, I don't know, give you a shortened link to that video recording once you're done. So straight away, that's a really nice feature that we'll have, is to be able to do that kind of stuff on any platform, whether it's your phone or it's Quest or it's PC VR. It doesn't really matter. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my arms to stop being crazy. Anyway, I've waffled for a solid 21 minutes there because we did start a few minutes late. I'll shut up for a second and see if anybody has any questions about anything that I've said.
Well, I can't wait for the to be able to have a video call between one space and the other. That sounds great. That sounds really
Cell
good.
phones.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want the 8-ball that floats in front of me, that follows me around. So it can just, that's my camera.
Yeah, someone needs to ping Skiz up because you're going to be able to make a fucking sick cell phone now. you're really going to be able to make something sick.
Yes.
If he doesn't, I will. And if nobody else does, I will. I'm just heads up. But
Shane,
yeah,
if you can Plex.tv would be nice to have as well.
I'll test that out. Yeah, chances are it just works, right? So a scenario in future where you can kind of get together with a closed group and just kind of share your screen, let you sit together and go through whatever media source you've got and hang out as a group like you would if you were sitting in front of a TV on a couch, right? That's the way the big screen way that we can position this, of course, where it's okay. And we're very much going to enter into this territory, right? From what I understand, this ability to cast a browser like we're adding is only available on big screen with a subscription, right? We're going to make it available here for free. So feel free to tell any of your big screen friends if they're interested.
Yeah, that's cool.
They may not need that subscription, right? With big screen, and we tested this. Static tested this out for us. I think it was the week before last, or maybe last week. But big screen, it doesn't allow you to share your screen on Quest, right? You can do it with a video that's on the memory, and everybody has to have a copy of it, and it just synchronizes the time of playback, basically. But yeah, being able to share a browser like this, I think is going to be sick, right?
Yeah.
And combining that with the virtual webcam, right? Being able to share a browser where people can see you feeding your own video of yourself through into it, and then doing some kind of mad whatever it is, right? Filters or all sorts of crazy stuff. Who knows? I think there's going to be a lot of interesting things. This is one of those features, right, where it's sort of the thing that can enable a lot of mad stuff. This sort of thing where you can't even enumerate all the things by the time this sort of feature is available that it could be used for. And that the truth of that is because there's just so many technologies out there on the internet that use webcams in really interesting ways, and all of that is going to be available in virtual reality now. And God knows, that in itself might lend itself to an experience out of the box, right? Is just doing something like that, but in virtual reality. There used to be this thing on a website called Chrome Experiments where they did loads of things, right? And it would cut your face out if you placed your face in the right position, and then it would project that onto a 3D face version, and it would make this real-time music video that involved loads of people's faces and do all this stuff, right, where it would zoom out and everyone's face would make a big picture of your face. You could do that now from VR, where it's just your avatar's face, basically, right, and feed that into it instead. Who knows, right? Play around with facial recognition systems online and see if they can recognize your avatar and recognize it. Yeah. Do you know something some of you might find interesting while I'm standing here? It might get harder in the future to recognize when people are in 2D mode, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people, I think, here in front of me, or 10 maybe. I think what we're going to do is have like an idle state. So when you haven't moved, your arms are going to go down to your sides.
Yeah.
Right?
Great
I think
idea.
a few people have asked for that.
Yeah, that is a good idea.
The reason we don't have it is mainly because they act as like an FPS controller where your Spider-Man and your teleport and everything come out of your hands still. But if you're not moving, then maybe that's something that you can either turn on or is just enabled by default, that your hands will simply pop back down to your sides, which I think is...
That's great.
Yeah,
100%.
It's going to make it slightly more immersive for anybody who's kind of hanging around with 2D people. Right, Barry?
Yeah, both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know what else. There's a new update because of the upgrade to Unity 6.2. We've completely rewritten our pointer system because and I know I'm repeating myself here, but basically we had to write it all ourselves because previous Unity versions didn't have support for it. So now there's a new system, and there's a couple of benefits you get with it out of the box. Like, I think it's going to be crisper, so UI is going to look better. It's going to be easier to read text on UI. The default setup that they've got in this new system, the default renderer, is it's a lot crisper. It's a lot easier to read in general, whatever it is. It's anti-aliased in a way that just feels comfortable and nice. One compromise we may have to make is, so far the menu isn't occluded right behind other objects. So right now in this version, it's not easy to get access to the new menu system shader. And our menu occlusion relies on that to be able to make that shader always right on top, to not Z-right, basically. So we're waiting until 6.3, which is supposed to be out within weeks, which has access to the custom shaders, as we've been aware, which has a bunch of other features, in fact, that we're interested in. So yeah, you can probably expect that hot on the heels, and we're going to get that fixed up. But just be ready for that. If you're in some close quarters, some dark, dank corner of the back rooms, and you try to open your menu in VR, right? This doesn't affect 2D mode, of course, but in VR, you might find the menu is occluded by the walls around you, and it wasn't in the past. So, but yeah, we'll get that fixed up in the coming weeks. There's a brand new pointer. It's super awesome, very comfortable. You're going to love it. Right now, we just have a straight line that just goes straight out from your hand and has a tiny little reticle on the other end. We're putting the finishing touches and the polish onto this new one, and we're once again trying to solve as many of the problems that we've seen over the years, and a lot of the feedback that we've got around this one and how it works. Like, for instance, it activates when you get near to an object, not exactly when you're on it, and we can adjust that threshold so that it will activate closer and closer, or further away. So it's easier to find things that are maybe at a distance that you're trying to scan with your pointer to find, We're looking at the line itself and trying to maybe adjust the width of that as it goes off out into the distance, just to make it easier to see it on screens, with lower pixel densities. And the reticle itself, right? We're looking at how we can make that more visible, make more sense at a distance as well as up close. And the whole line is this big bendy, full, curvy thing, right? That just feels a lot more comfortable to use. But that's the next update is going to be the whole pointer system overhauled, and it's going to include that brand new pointer. So I'll be eager to hear any of your feedback on that and what you think of it, I guess. But maybe I'll shut up again and see if anybody has any questions, or if not, I'll just pick on Barry, maybe.
Sure,
yeah, I can pick on
no
Barry.
problem. Okay, so I was wondering why you've changed the name from spaces to groups.
Oh, that's a good one. Let's see if anybody in the crowd knows why that is. Anybody, put your hands up. If you're in 2D, put both your hands up, I guess. Anyone?
I was going to guess.
I could guess.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Is it like a bit like VR chat where groups you could actually join up if you were interested in becoming like a member of that space, and
Yes.
then the spaces were kind of groups of people? That's what I would think. It made logical sense.
That's great. That's awesome.
Oh, okay.
I hope that more people think that, because that's exactly what it is. And that's exactly what we're doing. I mean, we're trying to build out tools, but we realized that there was a very quick fix we could make, which was to change our naming conventions that could make things make more sense, especially for those who are coming from VR chat. We realized our spaces on the website were essentially working exactly the same as groups in VR chat for the most part, right? You can join them. You can see that there's the events there, the admins of the groups, have control over their worlds and over their events. They can elect more admins and manage memberships, all of that kind of stuff. Kind of works the same there. Obviously, we don't have it monetized, right? That's one significant difference. Although I don't fully understand yet how VR Chat monetizes groups. But yeah, in essence, that's what we've done. You're going to find that in game, we're going to be renaming spaces as well. We're going to be renaming them to worlds, right? So that we kind of fall in line with pretty much everybody else, right? I don't know what anybody thinks about that. If anybody has strong feelings and they feel like, God damn it, what the hell? I'm gonna throw something or whatever because I'm really pissed off because you've changed it from spaces to worlds, or if you generally agree that, I mean, that kind of makes sense a little bit, I guess, right? I mean, this is where it gets interesting, right? When we've changed it to groups and then we've got worlds, later we're going to make it so you can have more than one world in your group. Boom. Bombshell dropped. That's where things get really interesting.
This is the question that I had. Is how worlds are kind of attached to groups. So how you could if you could kind of expand on that. So like, say you wanted to create a group, but you don't have a world that you necessarily want to link to that group. I mean, is that possible to be able to have a group that isn't linked to a specific world?
Like clubs.
Yeah, that's completely
like
possible.
A club, or like, and a way to represent that group, maybe to have like a tag that you could put on you or something.
Well, our groups, actually, it's funny. They started as communities, and then we renamed them to spaces, and now we've renamed them to groups. But they've actually existed pre-Banter, and they allow you to set up a group around any topic, really. For the most part, a group functions much like a subreddit, right? In that you can kind of create your own categories, and within that, just have a bunch of user posts. Within that, you've got a multi-dimensional comment tree with upvotes, downvotes. Basically works exactly like Reddit, right? If anybody's familiar with Reddit, right? So there's this whole kind of social component to spaces that doesn't really fit the word spaces and fits groups, I feel, a lot better, right? So we're kind of trusting as well that VR Chat has done their homework on this, and that this makes a lot more sense. Honestly, I'm more excited about how we might be able to surface groups in general across SideQuest to people as a new thing, right? To see if we can get more people in the wider audience interested in what we're doing here too. And I'm hoping that groups in general is something that's going to be, recognizable, I guess, to a lot of those people. So to your point, what's going to happen is, first of all, there'll still be a one-to-one relationship between a group and a world. Formerly a space and formerly a space, right? So we are decoupling those entirely. But later, we're going to have the ability to add more worlds onto your group. And honestly, right now, you can probably assume that for the most part, everything that applies to the original world will also apply to those extra worlds in terms of, the owner. I think what we're generally doing here really as well is trying to recognize that there is kind of a decoupling there, right, between somebody who creates a space on the environment and then a community of people who use that space for various things or other spaces as well, right? That you've got kind of one type of content creator over here who's creating worlds, and then kind of, in a lot of cases, this other type of content creator that might be creating content for their community, videos and stuff like that kind of use those kind of worlds. And for the longest time, we've kind of had that fundamental coupling between a space and a space here in Banter, and yeah, I guess we've realized that those two things aren't really coupled, right? And that world creators, they can be kind of thought of as a separate thing from a group, right? Overall, and that those things can kind of have different characteristics and be treated even in different ways, right?
Okay. So this kind of goes back to my question again, is that if you have, say, somebody who wants to come in and create a group, but they don't have a world associated with that group, they just want to gather all their friends, they want to create a group, and they just want to explore all the worlds. Is that
Yes.
a possibility, or is that something?
Yeah, of course.
So how does that work?
Well, right now you can create a group and it doesn't have to be linked to any world. In fact, by default, it's not linked to a world. You have to kind of create a world.
So is that something they do on the SideQuest website? They can just go in and create a group, or is that the plan? Or?
Exactly. That's exactly. It works like that today. It's worked like that since the first day we implemented it, but it just wasn't called groups until now.
Okay, so you have the option to link a world to that group or not to.
Exactly.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I'll have to do some testing on that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Honestly, there are many groups already, formerly spaces, formerly communities, that existed before Banter, and that already still exist there, and they are often centered around gaming community stuff like that. So they don't have a space. They don't have a world in that sense, and it's always been that way. So, hang on, I'm about to lose my battery. Give me a second. I just need to in real. %. Can't ignore that warning.
If I could just make a comment regarding this.
Hit me.
So, just as Dutch was discussing the whole groups thing, it's like, and we have seen on SideQuest that there are the groups, like you go to some of the developers and they have communities below them where everybody's discussing the app or whatever. It would just be really cool if there was just a touch more integration with Banter itself.
Gotcha. What have you got in mind?
Yeah, like just if when you went into the menu and you could literally just join a group or manage your
Yes.
groups.
I see.
And and actually like click that group and see the spaces they're, related to and what everybody's up to. And that'd be pretty neat.
Be able to do
I
it
think
in-game rather than on the website, too. That would be cool.
I mean, that's the next evolution, right? Isn't it? After we basically rename spaces to worlds, which is a super simple change. It's literally just change it in the menu and change it on the title. That's literally it. After that, yeah, you can absolutely expect a groups tab to appear in-game in the future for you to be able to browse, find communities, find your clan, be able to join, do a lot more activities kind of within the game as well, right? Thankfully, like I said, we've already got a lot of this infrastructure built out, so if we can speed run the UI, we can probably get a lot of this off the ground. Messaging is something we've been talking about adding for the longest time, and this might be the right time to do that as well, right? To kind of introduce that global social facility, let's say, but also take the opportunity to do the same with groups. Honestly, this new browser plugin might be the catalyst to all of that, because we have been talking about internally I guess new ways to automatically link, your account into the browser, so you're signed in by default, and yeah, we can potentially do a bunch of things through there. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I think definitely having a groups tab where people can find groups and join groups is going to be the direction that you can expect us to go pretty soon.
Awesome.
Yeah. Any other questions? Anyone? Any thoughts? Concerns? Complaints?
Yeah, all of the above.
Nice. Hit me.
So here's my thing, because I was very confused when I was trying to find a link to a space, and then even Yunji was confused when I brought it up, because I had a question about a space that I had potentially wanted to use for the sleepover. That has been used in previous sleepovers. So I asked Yunji about it, and she's like, okay, what's the space? So I went to get the link to the space, and I'm looking at the website, and I'm like, I don't see spaces. So I went into my account, and I looked at the stuff across top. I'm like, maybe it's moved there. I'm like, I don't see spaces.
Yes.
And then I'm like, what the hell? And I'm feeling like I'm sitting there going, I know I'm not stoned right now. And so eventually I start clicking on every damn link, because I would have never thought that they'd be under groups, and I found it under groups. Why was none of this communicated? Everything seems to be a surprise, and as a user, I can see it being very frustrating. Yes, and confusing.
Yeah, that's a good shout. In this case, this was supposed to be communicated, but because of how we have to coordinate updates with our team that kind of manage our website as well as our API, right, which caters to a much larger group of people, this particular thing got pushed around a few times and landed later than expected. So we had held off on announcing it first with a plan to do so. We're trying to get better in general, right? We've been trying to do better, more detailed changelog announcements that are out in the announcements channel, right? And that we're just basically giving you more information about, giving everybody more information about the different things that we're doing. But yeah, absolutely. This one, because it heavily involves the website and even our APIs as well, it's mostly not work on Banter. It's work on our website, and in some ways that's a different team. It's connected differently, and scheduling means that sometimes things can move around in there depending on what's going on. Right, there could be larger things going out at the same time, and rollouts are a lot more coordinated when it comes to that because. We've got millions of users on that website, so we have to be really careful about how we do things and make sure we don't make any significant mistakes and mess things up. So that's the reason why that sort of got moved around. Was mainly because it's mostly a website update that hasn't really reached us here yet in Banter. But I take your point. That is something that was probably surprising to see. I tend to waffle on about these things, and I just assume that everybody hears me, but I'm slowly realizing that's not the case, and that we need to actually have official communication channels to make this information public. So, yeah, keep an eye out on the announcements channel because we will be doing more of that, and there's going to be a lot of that as we go into the future. But has anybody else got any thoughts? Any questions?
I got one little.
Yeah, me too. I got another thing to go on that.
Maybe
go ahead.
Head. I think he got in just the hairs width just for you.
Yeah, real small. The ability to find people's worlds by their name. Like if I want to know all of Pony's worlds, can I do that yet, or is that in the? And I want to be able to do it from within here.
Should be.
So I can go find any world he's built based off of just his name.
Yes.
It's easy. There's loads of them.
I know, but I have to search through all of even the ones that haven't been what do you call it, featured yet.
That's interesting.
People may not want that. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, so there's a few different things, right? So pretty soon, if maybe not already, maybe you can. No, you can't see it yet because it depends on the new SDK updates. But pretty soon, in a space, you're going to be able to open a page that will tell you who made it in the space, and you'll be able to see their name and even get a link to their profile on SideQuest, so you can get in touch with them potentially if you or you can add them as a friend, that kind of thing. Right. I think maybe what is better really here though is that when you reach that profile, that maybe there you've got a list of that person's person's worlds,
that's what I'm
right?
saying.
And
that's
then
what I'm saying.
From there you can kind of just browse everything that Pony's done.
I should be able to bring up a menu that I can get, maybe a button that's an extra button on that screen that just popped up in front of me that can show me what worlds he's built, or his personal profile. If I click on him, I don't just get his level and mute and block and remove friend and volume, but maybe another button in that menu that could get me to his actual profile.
Get you to his profile and shows you his worlds. Yeah, I see what you mean.
I love that idea.
Yeah, I mean an actual profile, right? I guess in some senses this one is more of a settings panel. Than it is
part of it would be stuff that we create, like a little message about, let's say mine would say, I do stuff with Gravity Sketch, and then it would list all the stuff, worlds I've built or whatever. Yeah. So and then of course it would have to be not just list them, but you'd be able to click on them and go to them.
Are you with us, Shane?
That's interesting.
That sounds cool, actually.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I see anybody's bio on any card apart from my own. I think the bio is supposed to be there. Because when I click on my own, I see my own bio,
Right, I see that. Yeah.
which is interesting.
And I go click to pony, all I
Yeah, I
get is
can't
just
see it.
nothing.
Ooh, I'm 50 points away from level 41. Ha.
Oh, yeah.
I have a question.
That-
How are the
that-
levels working? I've always wanted to know. None of us know how to get our levels up. I hung out in Banter. I tried doing more stuff
Are
with side
not
quests.
supposed to know.
Oh,
supposed to know.
I want to go up. I've done everything but sell my soul. How do I move up a level?
Well,
It's Secret Cookie World. That's what it is.
Just
A secret cookie world, yes.
Oh, what? Come on, guys. I can't be stuck on this level.
Yeah, maybe,
Get all the
maybe,
cookies and then
maybe we will just keep it a secret, right? Maybe we'll just
No, I want
plant little
to
secret things in there that give you
Yeah.
explosions and
No.
points every now and again. Random things you can
there
find.
is no cookie
secret
world,
things.
right?
yeah, achievements
Yeah.
and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, there is a place on the SideQuest website where you can see everything you've earned points
Oh,
for.
it's the
It's actually tied in with the
website.
giveaway system, if you can imagine, right? Where you earn credits which you can use to redeem giveaways. For every credit you get, you actually get an XP point as well, but you don't redeem the XP points. They just continually count up. So you can see a history on there. I think there's even a section where you can see everything that you can do to be able to earn those points. Honestly,
okay.
we
I have
are still
I have a
exploring
suggestion.
internally. Yeah.
I have a suggestion. Okay, so
Right.
it's a little bit of a giggle, but when we all saw these bars above our head, like health meters, we thought it was like loyalty to Banter, how much time spent on the platform. So I was trying to spend as much time as possible to get that bar to move. That might be a little bit of incentive just for a bit of fun. You know, if it went up, if you were the more time spent in the platform, would that not be kind of a good idea?
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And that is already a thing, right? So right now,
Oh, it is. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So the way it works, I don't mind telling you, right? So the way it works right now is that the things that you can earn credits for are based on certain actions you can take, but there's a limit to how many of those actions you can take within a certain space of time, right? So that you can't just sit there and grind but you know, literally signing in earns you credits, earns you points, earns you XP. So coming back every time you
Got
do
it.
come back earns
Yeah.
you that, but you can only get that one X number of times per week, let's say, right? So that's how it
That's why
generally
it doesn't
works.
go up sometimes. Yeah,
Yes.
I've tried signing in a lot. I do the Indie Alliance thing
See?
now. I do it all.
Yeah. See,
game the
that's
system,
why.
aren't you?
That's
Come
kind of
on,
why.
I
Yeah.
want it to go up.
Well, that's interesting, and that's
You've
good to
been
know
gamified.
because we
Yeah,
are looking
we're
for
playing all
ways,
that.
hopefully
Yeah.
fun ways to make that go up. Anyway,
Yeah,
Dutch, I
come
was
on,
supposed to come
we
back
need
to you.
that.
You had a question.
Yeah, sorry, not to harp on the whole groups thing, but I think it's really important in my opinion. But so what Kenny said was really important, true, right? Communication, yes, obviously, that's super important for everything. But also looking through it through the eyes of a new user, right? So they come in, they go onto the SideQuest website and they want to check out the worlds. Now, changing it from spaces to worlds, that's perfectly great. It doesn't affect anything. But now when they go on there to find the worlds, they got to go to groups. So I still think I'm still a bit confused about how groups and worlds are linked and if they should be linked and how you couldn't
Yes.
just have worlds separate. So you want to see all the worlds, you can go to a worlds tab, see all the worlds, and groups being separate. And they can be linked, but for ease of use, for new users to come in and say, okay, I have this big group of 20 friends that I'm bringing over here. I want to start a new group. We don't have any worlds linked to this group. We just want to make a social group with a name. Boom, they can make that group. And if they want to find, okay, now I want to see the worlds on the website, I can go to worlds and I can see a list of all the worlds. Does that make sense? Like,
Sure, that makes perfect sense.
alleviate-
That's literally exactly our plan. In fact, that's exactly what the conclusion
Okay.
we came to when we discussed it internally. Was exactly that, right? That we would separate them. We would separate spaces on the
Excellent,
website
okay.
from spaces within here. In fact, that was kind of the point I was making before. Was that exactly our plan is to decouple those things, to make those decoupled and have them as entirely separate things, right?
Okay.
It's going to take some time, but I think the problem,
Yeah.
and I think it's really important to acknowledge this, but going to spaces on the website as they were before introduced so much measurable confusion that we could see that there was no way to get from a space into that space in Banter, and that actually finding your way to a space was a screen of posts and events which you could subscribe to but couldn't really get into. So I put it to you actually that what we've got here is a collection of community tools centered around worlds and centered around actually other content as well. And all of these terms, I mean, honestly, the difference between a community, a space, and a group, we could all sit here and argue semantics every day. But the truth of the matter is that somebody looking to find a world would have been more confused before, because something that was being presented as a world gave them no opportunity to be able to actually discover that world, right? So I guess that's my point, is
I get
to
that.
your confusion, the confusion for a new user was worse before than it is now. And now represents kind of a progression, right, of us getting to the eventual goal, right, which is, like I explained before, which is us separating worlds out, having world creators and their needs catered for separately, people being able to browse worlds and find worlds. And now pretty much what we've got on the website, like I say, is spaces, right? Sorry, is groups. God, I'm getting this confusing.
There we go.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
stick with
I guess
me.
I'll
I realize this is
we'll
this
have
is
to
confusing stuff,
see
but,
how it all
but
turns out. Yeah.
stick with me here if you can, and we'll get through this together, right? But yeah, it's never
Absolutely.
it's never an immediate thing. It can't be, right? We're not unlimited resource. We're a small team, which means we have to coordinate our efforts as best we can, and sometimes things have to. We have to take many different things into account when we figure out how to do this, and it means that there's a potential benefit right now to actually make spaces less confusing by making some quick changes, and that those changes get us closer to a future state which is ultimately the least confusing, right? And that is,
Gotcha.
I guess, our motto, right? That's our mantra internally. Let's just go with that, right? Shoseki, write that down if you can, or anybody else. That getting to the point of least confusing. That's what we should be aiming for. But that's my point,
Awesome.
right? If you can stick with us, there is some method to this madness, and we'll get there together, right? But
Awesome.
yeah. Anybody
Great.
else?
So
Any
we'll
other
wait and see.
questions?
Cool.
I've got one, just one more.
Hit me.
The landing space, absolutely love it. It's brilliant now. The changes they've done to that.
Yeah,
It's,
that music thing was a good addition to it.
It ticks every box. Yeah, it does.
Oh, you like that?
It ticks every box. It just does exactly what it says on the tin now. New users
Right,
go
nice.
in and it really explains. It's fine. Yeah, it's perfect for its job. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think that in the future,
that is
the
great. That's really good to
only
hear.
The only improvement to it in the future, let's say if somebody's here they just came in, they get that space. That's great. Once they've come in, let's say 10, 20, 30 times, then the space becomes something that they can modify or change or something. Maybe remove a couple of the portals that really shouldn't be of any use to them after a couple of times in, like the welcome one. You know, once you've been in 10 times, that one's like no good anymore. But maybe something else could be put in that place at that point. You know, something so that the space kind of grows with you, kind of thing.
Yeah,
level up
potentially.
developers.
I'd like an
Oh, here we go,
avatar
Barry.
closet if I could.
Oh,
I want a closet where I can keep my fucking avavar. So I
you
don't
want a
lose
closet?
it.
What are you gonna do with this closet, Barry?
I'm
You're
going to
gonna get
put
into
my
it?
avatar in it so that I don't lose it. Because now I'm screwed, right?
Okay.
Thank you. Just a closet. That's all I
Barry's
wanted,
corner,
just a
ladies and
closet.
gentlemen. Barry's just gonna get upset about something today and tell us all about it. Well, do you know what? I haven't heard much from Barry about the new landing space recently. In fact, there was a positive comment. I think maybe I saw something on the Discord. So maybe that backs up your point, Pony. That maybe we're heading in some kind of direction. Where's he off to?
He's out of here.
He's flipping us off up there. I swear to God. That's what it is. That's what he's doing up there. But no, that's great to hear. Honestly, the landing space, I've always kind of thought of it as just a stepping stone, right? That it's kind of just somewhere you'll go to next. And really, in some ways, I don't even want to try and, I feel like it encroaches on the potential of the discovery of the rest of the world if we put too much in that one space and make that too much. But maybe there's ways to re-enable remixing in future. I think the biggest thing really is that we're working on a lot of these creator tools, and we're working on tools that make it possible to build creator tools, right? And that in the future you're going to be able to have spaces that you'll be able to use tools in game to modify, right? And putting up your own custom stuff, putting up your own custom portals.
I did send him the version on.
Is that Ghost Droid?
What's it? Yeah, I did send him that version on Sketchfab.
Ghost Droid, you're not muted.
Sketchfab? You talking to me?
Yeah, I sent Barry that version on Sketchfab of that space.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yes, exactly. You absolutely did, right? So you want to get a real OG version of that space that's been published actually for quite a while, right? That was an original one that we've done. I know Alina's retextured it. Yeah.
What you and the team did was absolutely fantastic. And it's everything a man like me could ever have dreamt about. So thank you.
That's great. That's honestly that's such a
Very good.
I don't even know what to say, you know. We're gonna have an emotional moment over here in the corner because Barry isn't angry at me.
I wasn't angry anyway. I just missed my avatar, that's all.
Well, we can talk to Aline. We can get that back. I'm sure she still has the project. Aline tends to she's got fucking terabytes and terabytes and terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of projects. So I'm sure it's there somewhere. If not, I'm sure you can get it out again. She's actually been working on something recently where she's been trying to revive custom homes. I talked about that maybe last week, but yeah, she was looking to see if she could maybe get the meta avatars in there, right? So when people were joining, they'd be able to see their avatars. In fact, we were going to see if we could piss around with bridging that into Banter, so that people who visit the custom homes there, we can also visit them, and then everybody can see and hear and talk to each other. And we thought that could actually be pretty cool, right? It might be a nice way for us to increase the surface area of people being able to discover Banter and other content, right? Aside from the great fact that we're going to be able to preserve all of the custom homes and allow people to visit them whenever they want in their browsers. I don't know if I told anybody about that. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just dropping all of that right now, just out of the blue. Yeah, at some point soon in the future, who knows? You may or may not be able to do that. But if you did, act surprised.
In 2 weeks.
Act surprised, guys. Okay?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. That's right.
Holding you to it.
Everything is 2 weeks.
Oh, I know what pony's meaning. Oh, pony.
Occasionally, I do get something out. But I tell you, I am pretty excited. Sometimes it takes a lot of work, and it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But the stuff I've been working on recently is so cool and so fundamental to how everything works in here. And I think how a lot of us being able to communicate works. So this new browser is going to be, I think better than anything that anybody's ever seen or used in XR. So I'm super excited about that. We're honestly looking at maybe making that available to other third parties as well, right? That's the sort of thing where. Much like the streaming system I mentioned before, it's kind of one thing that's started out as a prototype here in Banter, but might then evolve or graduate into something itself, right? Which is something that will always help us potentially, work with third parties, be able to monetize even some of that, right? To help us keep the lights on and keep what we're doing here as sustainable as possible. So that's always a good thing as well. But I don't know. Any other questions about anything else? Or maybe I'll just pick somebody at random and pick on them. Caliman, did you have a question like 20 minutes ago that I didn't answer?
No, I was just bouncing around. Yay!
Right. Fair enough. That's okay. Hit me.
I would like to take this moment to remind everyone, Secret Santa is coming up. Be thinking about it. Yay. I haven't posted dates and stuff like that, but
I'm
Be
in.
thinking about it.
I know that.
I know Shane is in. I know Shane is in because
I'm
I
in.
gave you grief last year that you weren't in. Right,
Oh.
right. Not to put you on the spot or anything. But,
Wow.
Yeah, he like owes you, doesn't he?
That's brilliant. Oh my word. Wow.
Secret Santa. There you go, folks.
Secret
Everybody's
Santa.
in. Apparently, I'm in too, but we'll see.
Yeah.
you for Nick.
Oh, we all heard that, right?
See, listen to her. She's in the. She's in the
Shane's like,
Santa
you don't
mode.
want
Ho,
that.
ho, 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 she said.
Yeah. Ho ho.
Yeah. Here's something else, just completely, just let me to beeline out of that conversation again, just completely change topic, just totally different very quickly. Here's something else we've been working on. Our road team, maybe some others as well, have been helping us to try to fine tune the audio on the platform, right? So we have, basically a system. We've got a runtime right now, which we've already done one session on. Maybe we might do another fine-tune session on that just to be able to really try and get that audio roll-off to be as close to natural, right, as possible, and try and make it where you've got that balance where you can come together with a group of people and hear everybody clearly and crisply without having to be right up in each other's faces, but also not be overpowered by another group of people that are very close to you that are doing the same thing. Right now, we're working with a somewhat refined audio curve compared to the current one that's live on the platform. So it's just about tiny tweaks really here to try and get things perfect. The smallest change can have the largest impact when all of us are in here together and we're experiencing it using headphones, right, or earphones of some sort. It becomes actually quite a sensitive thing, and you can really hear the tiny nuances of the entire audio system. So we've got to try and smooth that out as best as possible. So we're probably going to do a couple more sessions with that, and then we'll be looking to roll that out for everybody to hopefully experience, right? I don't know. Maybe some more audio settings might come out of that. I think mostly we've got some good audio settings, but yeah, maybe there's some more that will come out of that. We'll probably have some other higher level fixes that we need to make overall in the audio, and trying to find ways to just normalize, right? Because I know there's still issues with people on different platforms, sometimes can be louder than others. And you never know, right? You never really know because you can never hear yourself. I will remind everyone that you do have that ability to test your audio in the settings menu. You can get your own sound feedback and hear what you sound like. But it's still a difficult thing, right? Because even, you could have your own headphones turned down and therefore you'd hear yourself quieter than everybody else does. But the hope really is that, we can tweak that roll-off so that at least you can just step away and without having to run to the other side of the room entirely, you can get away from people if they're a bit too loud. But you can also always adjust people's audio individually. Just click on their name tag. You can drop their volume down a little bit if you need to. So that's something you'll always be able to do. There was something else I wanted to talk about earlier, but I can't remember. Maybe it'll come back to me. Yeah, we're actually 10 minutes over the event at this point. So. Yes. I don't know, has anybody got any questions? Maybe somebody wants to question Iron Wolf about what's wrong with him?
That's just what she means.
Yeah. Oh, I remember, actually, before I jump out, right? So you talked about spaces and being able to access people's spaces, maybe even the ones that weren't featured. That was an interesting question. I think it triggered a point from Static Thread about maybe that's something people don't want. Honestly, I think this is a conversation we should all probably have together as a community pretty soon and decide, because what I've been thinking about recently is that at this size that we're at, it probably makes a little bit more sense to open things up. If people are going to shift into a space, it may as well be a space that other people can discover, right? If that's something that we generally agree as a community that we want. And honestly, I'm open
Yeah.
to it, right? I'm not saying that there's any specific reason why we want to have control over this kind of stuff. And I think one thing that I mentioned in a thread where this was discussed recently in the ideas channel in the Discord was maybe we can just relax the criteria for a little while, right? And allow people to be a bit more forward with their spaces while they're still in development, even if that's something that you want, right? So
Get
maybe,
rid of Quest
maybe
2. Get rid of Quest 2. I wish.
I mean, maybe we can just make it so even
I
if your
wish,
space
I
isn't
know.
at the peak frame rate, that we can still feature it for you, right? In essence, that could be something that we could open up. But we'll-
Labs type.
Put a tag
Maybe
on it.
slap it
No
with a
Quest
beta
2s
tag,
allowed.
you know, like
Yes,
not that's a tag,
potentially.
like a beta tag.
I think
Not Quest 2 compatible.
so. One idea we had internally, which I think is a good idea, is that we could make people aware of what kind of specs or what performance they could expect to have, right? So
Yes, PC Worlds.
we can tell them, this is what people have had recently when it comes to frame rates on PC, and this is what they've had on Quest and stuff like that. So we could be explicit about it, give people the information up front, tell them in the loading screen, this is what you can expect.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
And then, we're all adults, most of us, except for Barry, but. But we can, we can make our own choices, and if we're informed, it makes making those decisions a lot easier. And maybe that's something that we can do. And honestly, as far as I'm concerned, internally, it's a matter of me just decreeing it, and the rest of our road team will be able to handle featuring anybody's spaces. So there's really not a huge change there. But I don't know. Do you guys
That's the
feel
best
like
news I heard today.
Yes.
Is this a no-brainer in general, or
Yes, please.
All in favor.
Right.
All in favor say yay.
Well, leave it with me. I'll take it from this conversation. I'll make an announcement on the Discord later.
One little thing to add to that,
Amazing.
finding people's worlds, is people could still have a private world. Like Pony's working on a world he don't want nobody to see. He can have it be private until he's done with it, and then it'd be available for the rest of us to search.
Well, in essence, we're talking about really the policy is being changed, and actually the process is staying the same for the most part. So you could still just ask us to feature the worlds just like we always have, but now there's less work on you up front to have to actually get it perfect first, right?
Yeah.
The expectation is everything's a work in progress. You're going to continue to work on it, right? So
About community and perfection.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Now we
Yes.
could introduce a community spotlight, or we could introduce an early access, or we could introduce all of these things and these systems to try and deal with that kind of stuff. And honestly, there's still more conversations to be had internally. And the likelihood here is that our content policy on SideQuest will probably carry through as we relax this requirement, right? Which is probably going to mean that most everything is going to be allowed if it's not pornographic, right? Absolutely pornographic. And I think everybody knows right now, all over the world, they're really going after people in the UK especially, but also in other parts of the world. So there's not going to be an easy option probably for us to move on that front without having to invest huge amounts of money in trying to protect people. And maybe that's something we'll do in future. I won't entirely say never on that front, but as it stands for now, pornographic content will be something that we won't be able to feature. But otherwise, if we relax this criteria entirely, that will be the fallback that you can basically ask. It's a formality for myself or anybody in my team to be able to feature your space, and we can do it on a moment's notice, right? For us, when you go to what's now called a group on the SideQuest website. I'm going to make this mistake a bunch myself. Don't worry. Confusion.
It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress.
Exactly. But for us, it's a matter of clicking on a button that says verify on the space, right? That's as quick and easy as it is for us to do. So fairly soon, you'll be able to be in contact with any of my team, and that includes the road team as well, who are able to handle that for you too, right? So let's assume right now, if this is as much of a no-brainer as it seems to be, let's move forward with it, and let's figure it out as we go. Right? And I'll make an announcement to the rest of the community after all of this.
Oh, wow.
So I've
That's
just made a
exciting.
new group. It's called the Nice Group.
Oh no.
It has no words. No words.
No worlds.
Oh no.
It's
Awesome.
got no members.
That's kind of great.
It's got no members. Because none of us are
No
nice.
world.
Nobody's allowed to
nice
join.
here.
It's just Barry.
You can join.
It's just Barry in his own
It's only
bubble of
It's $5,000 to sign up.
Okay, it's not
Oh,
bad.
jeez.
$5,000. There you go. Or are those berry bucks or whatever we were
Yeah,
talking
berry
about?
bucks.
Berry bugs are so
Blueberries-
cute.
Blueberries work fine.
Yeah. Nice.
Blueberry
Nothing
pudding.
blue allowed,
Right there.
Barry. He's just
Right
said
up there.
nothing blue
Blueberry
allowed.
pudding, see?
Oh, lovely. That's perfect. That was really well timed. That worked. Okay, perfect. Okay, guys, I'm going to bounce out. Honestly, it's been great. There is another
Thank you,
event
Shane.
about to start in less than 15
Wonderful.
minutes.
Thank you.
Kitty, maybe you can jump up if you'd like to use the opportunity to talk to anybody.
Yes.
And after that,
Thank you.
yeah, Pony, I think I featured your world last week after the event when you dropped everybody into it. But after that, yeah, feel
like
free to drop
Ghostbusters.
another portal if you want.
Yeah.
But I'm going to bounce out, guys. Thank you so much. It's been great to see you all.
Thank you.
Keep
Thanks
an
a
ear
lot,
to the ground.
Shane.
We've got a lot of cool stuff
Thank
coming.
you.
Thanks, Shane.
Talk to you all very soon.
Awesome.
Yeah, bye.
See you later.
I'm going to
Tony.
ask if we can, we are launching a new event that actually started 17 minutes ago. Who Doctor has been waiting over there very, very patiently. And then we've got another new event starting right after at 6 with Dutch, which is Studio B. Static helped us put together. So I'm going to actually ask that everybody who can stay and has time, we're going to hop over to 12th Street Beach to support the new event. It's going to be every week after Space Makers. So if you're staying on, please pop over, even if you can just come over for 5 minutes. We'll do this new Rainbows and Allies event and then head over to the Banter Late Show set for Studio B. Come on in.
And if anybody's got my avatar, bring it with you.
Oh,
All right.
bless.
I don't see the
Pay the
portal.
ransom. See y'all later.
There's no portal for me.
He goes to events, it's Rainbow and Allies.
Do you guys see a portal?
If you just go to Spaces, go to 12th Street Beach. That should hit you right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could do that. Yeah, I just
Yeah, I'm gonna
that's
just have to
weird.
take a
Don't
little
see
head
it.
safe.